point of view. For example, we are going to see one message here and how this message is look like, what is the advantage of that message. For example, I will walk you through one message and I will show you that the single message how can be transferred from your CBPR guidelines to your my standard guidelines, and how it can be implemented in your actual production examples, which is shared by Swift only, how they look like. So when I say production example, these are the example of your Swift messages, how they are implementing. So ISO 222 nothing but your XML format messages, which is earlier as a SEPA messages, right? So SEPA messages and ISO are almost similar, but it has more fields and more granularity of this one. So just now who I joined late, we have just walked through on the basic of the overview of the ISO 222. Okay, we have just finished that one, and after that one we have just started beginning of the discussion about the other part of the discussion, which is your okay, just a minute, I have just closed one presentation, I want to share that as well. Yeah, this one. So this is another basic presentation which help us to understand the ISO messages. Okay, what are the several advantages of these messages? Is first of all this one. Then they are including so many advantages of those messages. Then after that, it's basically reducing error, faster processing, enhancing the role. Okay, then the improved security. This is something which, then the structure of the messages. We'll go up through this. That's current structure of the message. Income is XML format structure. Okay. This one, and then we'll see the coexisting of timeline, the migration of the set ISO migration, and what are the coexisting of timeline of this, the coexisting period between M2 and MX, the decommission of MT, which is current year November 25, the start of coexistence. Okay, then what are the different approach till now used for your converting M2 to MX, big bang migration, phases of migration, like to like operation, enrich, full-fledged approach migration. So these are the migration type also from the, and translation approach. Those are the basic one. Okay. Apart from this, I just now open one PDF. We are going to study that one. For example, this is the PDF. This PDF is a Swift PDF, which is explanation of each and every messages of ISO 222. Now I can assume that once you are here with me, you know the all ISO 1502 messages, means everybody knows that how empty messages work. So if you know everything about empty, then it's very easy to understand at least how ISO 222 messages work, because we are going to map empty messages with MX only by this November 25, the deadline. But I'm sure this deadline definitely going to increase after some time, and there may be new deadline. But unless or until you are comfortable with empty messages, okay, this is my personal observation and personal thinking. Unless or until you are very much comfortable with empty messages, you are not comfortable with MX messages. There is no rocket science that you cannot learn ISO 222, but empty message is the baseline, because you don't know that if you are working in any messages if you have got any project where empty message is also running and MX is also running. So for example, empty messages is also getting top up in the banking system, and MX also both parallelly working, and the fields area you might not know. But yeah, that's a different discussion. But at least we'll walk you through the different sets of messages here of in ISO 200, because this session is particular that only. My two other sessions are also running on, is also going on in the evening time, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. That are full-fledged session of MT ISO 15022, ISO 222, and all the basic system, including your investment banking, agile, that's including a single package. Everything is okay. That's almost a 26 hours of session, almost 1 month of session. Okay. So that is a different one. But this session is something only ISO 222. So this is a restrict, which is a less as compared to the other session. So here you can say, whenever say ISO 220, right, we are going to, and this is particularly we are going to walk you through the CBPR guideline, cross-border payment guideline. Okay, so this is we are going to follow the what are the different methods are called, because there is one more concept is called, we are no more calling as a bank after if everybody is aware that we are not calling, no more calling as a bank for any institution or any financial institution, because the SIP guidelines simply says that CBPR guideline we are calling them as agent. Okay, so this kind of information is mentioned here. There are lots of other information also there, but we no more calling as a bank, we calling as an agent. Okay, the person who is sending the payment we calling a debtor, receiving as a creditor, debtor bank, debtor agent, receiving agent. That kind of concept is newly introducing, so we are no more calling them with the basic name. Then any ISO 222 message is come with some basic application header, means header part is there. If I want to show you how header part look like, so this is your production messages, example messages. For example, the header part is look like here, which is from here to here. This is the header part of the message, which is um, if you understand MT103 message completely or MT101, we are having a block 1 and block 2. There is your sender bit who is sending the payment, and the receiving bit who is receiving the payment. Okay, that's the basic idea behind your header part always. So we are going to study in detail all the header part of these messages, and this is only for this is only for pack set message. So we are going to study almost 8 to 9 messages like this in a detailed manner, which are the studies also. So that's why I'm telling you here. Business application header, it contain your what are the elements contained in that, the element, each and every field of that we are going to discuss. Okay, and the characteristics which are changed for application headers, which are a mandatory field. For example, minimum one, maximum one is always come, means it is your mandatory field. Okay, it is 10 means it's a non-mandatory field. So this also highlighted clearly in your SWIFT guidelines here. If you are placing 1 and 1, it is a mandatory field, it should be there in your application. So that kind of information is passed. If it is 0 and 1, it is a non-mandatory field. So how can you verify this thing? So to verify these things, I have one more presentation for this one. You can verify this thing by your ISO standard guideline. Okay, this is called your ISO standard guideline for empty messages. Okay, so till now I have shown you 3 different combination and one basic method. This is the last one combination where you can see how the message is built up. Okay, how I will show you. Okay, there are some basic rules for this, how the message should be look like, what are the system rules and business rules we have to follow while writing any messages, and based on that message is written. So your message start from here. Okay, business application header, it almost having 300 fields. If I show you like this contain totally mandatory and non-mandatory field together till here. Okay, if I show you this message in a production, this look like very small message because it contain only mandatory fields, simple only. But if you see the real guideline, it contains 300 fields. There is no mandatory rule that you cannot see other fields. Other fields are also there, and you are going to see this field as well. So that is the one thing. So how this is bifurcated? Yes, okay. Why I open this message to you, show you that there are fields you can see here. These elements, and we are no more calling as a field, we are calling as element. For example, here you can see one on one. Okay, it's meaning that this is mandatory field. It should be there in your ISO 222 PAX 008 application. This is PAX 008, which is the customer to customer payment transfer. Okay, this example. So that's why I show you this example. One on one means mandatory, 01 means optional field. It can be optional. For example, this field as interbank settlement date. It's an optional field here in this. Okay, like this. If using 0 star, when it occurrence can become multiple times. So those are the basic things which can be mentioned in your ISO 222 messages. Okay, based on this, now financial institution, there is a new fields are introduced when we represent your bank, your agent. So you are no more only using like big in earlier cases. We are introducing some more fields for calling agent. Those are clearing system ID, LEIs, name and address of the bank can be used for your understanding of your agents here. Okay, date and time, the individual bank, application header, characteristics, financial institution. Okay, how this is look like. And the next one is your what is the business services for each and every message. And one more thing, this is not compulsory that for example, the version is released in production now PAX 008, 001, 008, but currently there are 14 versions available as per CBPR guideline. But it is agreed to with all the banks in the ISO 222, we are going to use only this version. So like this, there are so many versions are available for CBPR guidelines that we have to use in a header part. So we are just discussing now header part. What is the business service header part, which is a mandatory one. So if I show you what is header part, it is here. in the header part, this is your business service, which is a mandatory field here, and it is a business service. Okay, this service we have to use like to capture the messages, to send messages, receive messages from any parties or any banks in the system. So if you study, if you know the empty messages system, we have lots of corresponding messaging system in empty, but we are not using corresponding system here, corresponding message system. We are using here intermediary bank system or intermediary bank agent and their account that we are using. So this is the new concept we are introducing here as ISO 222. Okay, these are the corresponding messages and their business service going to be used for invoking the messages. So these things we are going to study. Okay, then I am going to show you one message in detail. So based on that, for example, we are going to study this message. Which messages we are going to study, that also I will walk you through first. So we are going to study the business application header. Each contain almost 200 to 300 pages, by the way. Okay, each messages. Then we are going to study the PAX 002 messages, which is your status report messages. Whenever we send payment, the report has been sent to the backward bank, right? So the message is called PAX 00 messages, which is a status message. Then payment return message. So payment return means if your payment has been settled, you already sent the payment, and you want to revoke the payment, you want to cancel the payment and send the payment back to the original getter, then those messages are newly introduced in ISO 222. Those are called PAX 004 payment return messages. In earlier, we used to return the payment only in MT103 in field 72. We are just have to mention as a return code, the reject code, then only. So those are the messages we study here. PAX 002 return message. Direct debit is no more equivalent here. We are not going to study this message. We are going to study the best message here, PAX 002. And one more thing, when we are studying all these messages, as per my experience, as per my past experience, I am going to guide you that which are the possible interview questions the client asks, the interviewer asks whenever you are giving the interview. So that is very helpful for you, not only understanding the knowledge, but typically which kind of questions discuss in business scenarios. They give you a case study, on the basis of case study some question answer you have to give answer. So that also will walk you through time to time based on that. Okay, so this is the message, payment return message. Then the widely used message is PAX 8 message, customer to customer, means financial to financial institution customer credit transfer. Then your three messages of core, cover and advice of PAX 001, which is between two banks. Okay, we are going to study these messages. Then PAX 10 messages, this is direct debit messages. Okay, then your reporting messages or your report messages at the end payment is settled, then you have to send some report. So these messages are equivalent to your MT900, MT910, MT900, MT400 and 500, MT940, 950 messages, which are customer statement messages. Those also we are going to study in detail. What are the messages we are going to study? Then we are going to study last messages, which are your payment cancellation messages, which is MT192 equivalence if you are saying empty messages, and the resolution of investigation. Okay, these are the messages total which is given by CBPR guideline. We are going to study. We are not going to study check messages; those are no more relevant nowadays. So we are going to study all these messages except the check messages here. Okay, cash management messages. So what is the pattern of discussion study, right? I am going to show you one. PAX 8 messages. If you see PAX 8 messages, then okay, first of all, before moving to the PAX 8 messages, we are going to study the basic part of these messages, how these messages are built up, what they are basically called. Okay, what is the information, what is the detailing, how these messages are, parent and child relationship exists between them. Okay, this we are going to discuss, and we are going to discuss payment and cash management, but not the other messages. Those are out of scope for CBPR guidelines. Then any messages in detail, how this message is made up, that basic discussion. What are the equivalent fields of empty messages, which is for your MX messages. From this diagram we are going to study these things as well. And there are two more messages introduced, ultimate debtor and ultimate creditor, which are not exist in your older version of empty message. We are going to study these things, newly introduced message as well. So sometime before I say that we are not going as a correspondence, we calling as a reimbursement agents and intermediary agents in between that, and previous instructing agents. So those are the newly concept here we are going to discuss. Any messages come with the two different parts. application header and credit transfer information, actual message. We study this kind of some basic information about, just now I explained about mandatory fields and non-mandatory field, optional fields. Okay, those things we have discussed. Then CBPR guideline, and which are the allowed characters in this ISO 222. We'll go walk you through this one. Just now I explained the banks and everything. Okay, these are the basic things which we are going to discuss before we move into the any messages. And what are the basic, if you are studying ISO 222, what are the the corresponding fields in your ISO 15022? For example, for message identification, which is field, it is in ISO 222, which is here. If you see here, this is message identification, message ID. So what is the corresponding fields in your empty messages? So which is corresponding field is field 20. So this kind of a small discussion also I will walk you through, take you through when we are discussing on this ISO 222 migration. Okay, so now we are going to study one message, which is tax 8 messages, which is customer to customer credit transfer, financial institution to institution credit transfer. Here, apart from the basic things like group header is credit transfer, these are the basic two parts of the messages. Okay, so if you see here, this is your header part and your customer credit transfer. The next message is this one, FI to FI customer credit transfer. Here, these two messages create your pack set message. In pack set messages, okay, then inside the messages, these two information is mentioned here. So like that we are going to study what are the two different. This is a group header here, group header. Okay, inside this one, and below that is a customer credit transfer. Means if you study MT103, this is your block 4. In MT103, this is your block 4 till here, and prior to this your MT101, block 1 and block 3, these are your block 1 and block 2. Okay, then your instruction ID, everything will be covered in block 3 from here, UATR, like this. Okay, so we are going to discuss on that part as well from this point of view. So this is your credit transfer information, then how the flow happens between them, each and every field element we are to discuss in detail. Different settlement methods we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, and we have some use cases for this one, how the use cases are work, and each and every fields of reimbursement agent, the instruction IDs, the transaction IDs, amount, there are different charges involved, that how these charges are calculated, who is sending how much charges, and it is corresponding charges in your MT103 as well. So we are having a different detailed session of this one as well. Okay, then some real-time production examples, some real-time flows we are going to walk you through on this, of how many charges deducted by whom, and how payment has been settled. Okay, these are the some charges production data examples. Then the new field which I just now told you, ultimate debtor, ultimate creditor, has been introduced. Okay, these are the things. And apart from this, at the end, this is almost 200-page document. After that, we are going to study some use cases which is happening in the real time. These use cases are helpful for business analysts to write down the user stories if they are getting new projects for ISO 222 or enhancement in the project, or QA to write down the high-level test cases. So these are the user story also we are going to walk you through. So every user story is having some flowchart, detailed explanation, and with the help of that explanation is properly guided how the payment has been transferred. So this is one of the example of your PAX 08, how it is created, directed, and narrated. Okay, so like this. So like this, we have total almost 10 to 15 messages which go into study for this your ISO 222. Then we are going to study not only one, I have almost 50 to 60 examples from production, from the Swift production house. This is not from any client production house. The example, how this XMLs are bifurcated, their system inside that, their bills validations, their operability, what are the instructing agent, instructed agents, their date and time validation, if the message is sent from which ISO technique they are using. So those are available with me. Then apart from this, we are going to study the last thing which I discussed, each and every message in detail of their element field. For example, if I want to show you one, there is one concept called instructing agent, okay, sender of the payment. So if I click on instructor agent, so instructor agent has having parent relationship with child, it is an agent. It may contain financial institution or branch identification. Okay, then it is a branch of this. This is now financial identification. Inside that one, if I click on this, there may be n number of fields. So either one of these fields you are going to take up for your identification of bank, identification of agent B. So if the bank is capable of using BIC only, then BIC will be displayed. Otherwise, we have clearing agent, LEI's name. So if I click on anyone, there is a detailed description of anyone. Every bank will come into it, and this is like a parent and child relationship. So this kind of information, this kind of walkthrough also we are getting each and every bank. Like IBAN we have, right, international bank account number. So LEI follow the same context, international bank identifier code, not the account identifier code. So this is also one of the flavor we are going to study on the part of this. Okay, when we are going to discuss on this. So till now I have walked you through the basic part of ISO 222. Then we discuss about the some basic guidelines of ISO 222, the migration approach, how the migration is happening, what is the deadline, which features are missing. One of the messages, each pack 08 message, how it is contained, their element, their structure. Then from the structure, the how these messages are derived, how they are calculated, their rules, regulation, valuation, this kind of things we have discussed. So based on this, we are going to study all these ISO 222 migration projects, sorry, not messages. And based on that, I have some my own guidelines that how can you identify how the message has been migrated. For example, if you understand 32A in your MT103 field, which is called interbank settlement date or amount, then how this field is mapped to your ISO 222. Anyway, all the banks in the world now already migrated, but still, if you want understanding from the for interview point of questions or any client discussion, so I can guide you from that point of view as well. It will be FI to FI customer credit transfer. Inside that, credit transfer information, enter the interbank settlement amount. So if I want to show you on the bigger picture how it is look like, it is like this here. Your FI to FI credit transfer here. Instruction, not this one, below one. Interbank settlement date. Okay, for example, settlement method, how it is mapped inside settlement method. Okay, here is your interbank settlement amount. So this is the field, this is the child interbank settlement amount. It is lie inside your payment ID. It is under credit transfer information. It is under credit FI to FI credit transfer information. Okay, so like this we have to map this field in your ISO 220, which I just now show you. How can you map this field? So like this you can map this field. So for your migration. Okay, so this way we'll see all the messages in detail and their significance, use, their approachability, and if you are working already on these messages, then how can you study these messages in your current project also. Okay, so now I would like to know from you your observations, your Q&A answer from your point of view. I would like to give my opinion if I am able to answer your question and everything. And if you want to join the sessions, that also welcome, and your observations and your question answer basically for that only here. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss one-on-one, that also fine. If you want to discuss now in front of everyone, because we have 30 minutes, still we have 30 minutes. And if you want to learn from the basic, right, then another sessions are already in the parallel going on, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock batches. But this is separately batch only. I am starting for ISO 222 migrations. And you can see at least the knowledge help how ISO 222 is built up. Okay, so over to everyone. If you have any question to discuss with me now, and if you are not have any questions, that also fine. But if you have any question, I would like to give answer of these questions based on this training point of view now. Okay, and if you want to learn in detail, that definitely I'm going to discuss in separate session. But if you want to have any question from now, at least from the something is which I'm not covering, or I should cover this one, or this is something more information required. Yes, go on. Yeah, I can hear you. All right, somebody left. I can hear you, Swati. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So I have three kind of paid services for this one. One is for complete ISO 222, ISO 15022, your basics of MTMX, everything, which is start from for the person who don't know anything about this payment industry, right? And who want to learn ISO 15022 as well. In ISO 150 means MT matches, MT1 series complete, MT2 series complete, MT9 series complete. Okay, these are the three series completed. So for that I am already sessions are parallel running on. For that I am charging 25,000 for complete 27 sessions. That including your investment banking concept, that including the concept of your agile as well. If somebody want to learn from agile point of view. Okay. So that is the question, and that including your guidance of interviews, which normally people are required for switch on transformation or join any client portfolio. Okay, that is your ISO 222. And plus, if somebody wants many people are not sitting in India or the other part of the country, and they are not um, join with the time for me. So for them, recording sessions are available, which I have session. I'm taking session, I'm recording them, I'm putting on a shared drive. So those are more than 40 hours of discussion session that is shared on one drive. So that also they can buy, that including everything, MTMX and basics, everything. So that also I will give the shared drive access, and they can learn themselves. Only one-to-one session will not happen for them. That's another way of recording. And the third one, which I just now taken, introducing a new only ISO 222. It may be a 15 to 17 hours of session. I'm taking first time now, so it may take more time as well. So I don't know now how much deep I go. So a minimum, I said minimum 16 hours sessions I will take for this ISO 222. So this is cost around 15,000. I have checked this for your ISO 222. Swati. So, who are interested in this session? Okay, for example, out of your, for example, five people are interested from this batch, for example. So, I am going to discuss with everyone. I will come to a single understanding of time for everyone, and all agree with that one. I will go with that timing. If it is not possible for everyone, then I will shift to two batches different based on that. But I will try to say everything will be in the same batch. Everybody in the same batch. That will be my first preference. But if it is not possible, then definitely I have to go for 2-1. Same thing happening now also. Sorry. So yeah, see, being honest with you, I agree with you. Being honest with you, don't compare the certification like your Scrum Master and Product Owner with Swift. Okay, first of all, those certifications are not relevant here. Okay, so only thing is that if anybody give you any certification and anybody give a register number, that all are fraud. This is my um, to everyone, whether you are joining my session or not. But don't, if anybody is giving certification, those are not in the not recognized in the market. Only if you are doing the exam from the Swift, only if you if